So hey guys, it's Team Rooney. I'm starting a truly baseball podcast. It's capital T, capital R. You can find it on my channel. This is the first one. I'm gonna actually talk about. I'm actually using a laptop instead for better sound quality. Haven't done that in the past. So yeah, I'm going to. Today I'm gonna talk about what I think about the A's going into the playoffs. Talk about injuries. Talk about all sorts of things revolving that and baseball. And I'm thinking about and I'm also going to do a different team that I think is contenders or a disappointment every week. Um, so the A's have lost Chapman and Pinder. They haven't really lost any pitchers other than Puck, which they haven't had from the get-go. No biggie there. We got a few players back, and we got Mike Minor. So I feel like our starting pitching is good. We don't really have that superstar though. However, in our bullpen, yeah, that's a lights out bullpen. I'd say it's one of the best in baseball, if not. And statistically, they're probably the best. They allow pretty much nothing. They got Yusmeiro Petit, playoff experience. They got Soria, playoff experience, and yeah, and that's pretty much a big. So I think we're set in pitching. Liam Hendricks has been lights out the past few seasons. I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to pitch well and get the job done. Uh, when Delkin has been pretty good too. They don't always use him, but they're using him a little bit more and more each time, and I think that's really working. But yeah, that guy's really underrated. And we also got Puck. Let me pause this for a sec. All right, Puck is coming back next season, and he's a hard thrower. I will say he cut his hair, which is kind of a disappointment. Just on a lighter note, yeah, our bullpen is pretty stacked. I mean, I can't think of a bad player in there. I just named off the main guys, and looking forward to seeing those guys in the playoffs. I'd say our strongest starter for playoff purposes, and I think the past 2 years we should have used him, is Mike Fiers. He has actually had more playoff experience than any starting pitcher on that team as far as positive playoff experience. Back when he was with the Astros, I think he pitched pretty well, even though they were cheating. I mean, I don't know. I still feel like that didn't really affect their defensive game. I thought he pitched pretty well, and and he definitely has confidence. Another guy you should worry about in the playoffs is Mike Minor, but I'd say you got to tip your hat to the get them both within a 5 game series to start the playoffs. And that would be my game plan going in. I would do Fires, mix it up then and go like maybe a Manaya because he's pitch. I know he failed last time against the Rays in the wild card game, heartbreaking. But yeah, and so Fires, Manaya, Minor. I know he's getting back into form. Montas, and I would put trying to think on who else would be in the pitching staff. I know there's oh yeah, and Luzardo I would put in the fifth spot. And so yeah, and we're gonna be relying. We shouldn't be afraid to put in our bullpen. We were afraid to do that last season in the wild card game. Home and I got off to a really bad start, and by that point the momentum was too late. The Rays were gonna win. They had Charlie Morton on the mound, who was having an insane season. So yeah, that was kind of that's kind of what I think should happen. That may change over time based on who the hot hand is as well. If Luzardo's hotter than Manaya, then you got to put or something like that. Or Mike Minor might get moved up to 2 because he's been pitching so well. He'll get you at least 4 good innings. I feel like he'll get you deep into a fourth at the very worst. Great strikeout pitcher, great experience. Nerves don't really seem to get to him. Uh, and we acquired him for a reason. So yeah, that's it for the pitching staff. Chapman being out hasn't really hurt us to the same extent I thought it would. I mean, it was scary that he needs season-ending surgery. But let's see. But yeah, uh, Jake Lamb has been incredible filling in for him. When we got Jake Lamb on the season, this is due to health issues, I think. He was batting 116, and now with the A's, he's just crushing the ball, playing extremely good as a fielder. Um, Neither of them really make a difference in playoff experience, but yeah, that would be something to look into. Semien is healthy, perfect timing. Uh, we've got Tony Kemp or Stella at second base. Usually it's Stella because he doesn't strike out very often. In fact, there was a point this season where he had 67 at bats without striking out, well, appearances without striking out. That's pretty incredible. I can't. That's just insane. And he tends to just advance the run. He tends to either get on or make it a productive out. I really think highly of him. He's a great underrated pickup that I think other teams should have gone after. All we had to do was trade Barreto, who was batting like zero, basically. I think he may have had one on base thing all season, and we weren't really using him. So, and Kemp's also pretty good as a pinch guy for also to give Estelle a break halfway through the game or something. So yeah, we have a great tag team in second at second base, and and they both can play different. And I think they're utility guys, so Kemp can play outfield if needed. And I feel like our catcher Sean Murphy, red hot. The way he's hitting and also the way he's catching, insane. He hit he hit the longest home run of the year for the Athletics, and I think it was like 406 in 60 like 8 feet or something. I it was longer than 464 because before that 464 was the longest. I think it was 468, 467 maybe. But yeah, and infield. I would actually say that Matt Olson. You almost forget about he goes underappreciated. Like even I think I just underappreciated by not mentioning him first. Great fielding first baseman, has a knack. Turns out he doesn't need Chapman to field the ball. I thought like they were a tag team because they came up together, but he's doing well with Lamb. Great stretch, great range at first. Knows when to get off the bag. Great arm. If you hit it to first base and there's a guy in second going to third, he could gun that guy down, which is quite amazing. So I'm liking, and I know he's batting less than 200, but he's like a three on base percentage above 300, and he actually leads the team in home runs. So by far, gets a lot of RBIs, smart at bats. It's kind of all or nothing for him. It seems like, but he makes good swings. He looks good striking out even. Chris Davis, I don't think they should really use. They should as much at DH because he's struggling. You need to go with the hot hand. So maybe that's where they've been putting Canna there, and Canna's been doing well. Canna, another guy that gets hot later in the year, that I feel like makes just great swings, great batting eye as well. So, and also in the outfield, you got Piscotty, who's red hot, who's been great all season. He's had multiple grand slams, and and almost every time he hits, it's when we need it most. So I feel like he's got like balls of steel to do it. So looking forward to what he can do, as well as Laureano, the Lasers, what they call him. Don't know if you're not from the Bay Area or A's fan. I literally have a bobblehead of his saying that's the nickname with the naming him the Laser. Incredible throws from the outfield. Incredible plays just in the outfield in general. Great arm, great fielding range. Could drop back. He's able to play shallow and then go all the way to rob a home run. So he's definitely best known for his fielding. He's in a slump hitting, but he's starting to get out of it, and I'm hoping by the playoff time he'll be able to get out of it and start hitting well and start getting back to what he was before his he had a suspension for getting the brawl. Um, Honestly, he's one of the more exciting players on the team, especially on the base pass. Like he gets hit more than anybody, and like I think he's like second in the league for getting hit by a pitch the most. Honestly, that's pretty messed up. But like, I don't know why that is. I would assume it'd be Astros players, but then if you do it to an Astros player, it's a whole nother. I'll make a different podcast on that. But like, I'm surprised he's getting hit because he's not like that big of a loudmouth except for the one brawl he had. And he doesn't lean over the plate, so I don't know. I respect his game. I also respect him sticking up for himself every now and then. He's a bit rough around the edges when it comes to communicating with the other team. Anyways, looking forward to. Also, we have other outfielders. Let me think. Scotty Lauren. Oh, um, usually there's also like Canna. There's why am I blinking? Oh, hold on. Let me pause. Okay, so it's Robbie Grossman. I can't believe I forgot about him. It's just I guess he's another flying under the radar guy. He's not really star power. I just got so caught up and thought about Laureano, so sorry about that. Um, Robbie Grossman hit a home run last night. They didn't win, but he also just first inning, he was the second batter of the game. Hits a home run against Dustin May, a solo shot. They didn't win, but I feel like he had a good offensive game and some pretty good defense. So also right now, and so we got the lineups down. I would say the one team there are a few teams I'm okay with playing in the playoffs. First round, we do have the 3 seed right now. It's Houston. I think we do great against Houston because they have so many injuries within their rotation and not that great a bullpen. McCullers and Greinke are what I'm worried about, but not too worried about because McCullers hasn't been able to stay healthy all season. Like he's banged up even now. I don't think he'll be 100% for that series. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Or also, I was thinking like the Indians maybe, but uh, that would be interesting too. I don't want to play the Yankees in the first round, um, and that's just because they're probably way more experienced than the A's in the playoffs. I really hope that I'm not predicting the A's are going to win it all. I'm hoping. I feel like it's their season if it's going to be their season, just because it's a different feel to the season. I think they've taken had a great. They've taken advantage of being the hot team, and I think they're resting their players well. Blah blah blah. I think they're meant for this shortened season. But I'd rather play the. I think okay, the Twins, Astros are my 2 teams I really want to face. Or Indians. Those are the 3 teams I really want to face. So basically, anyone since we're division, we're not going to play another division team. So I'm predicting the. I really just don't want to play the Yankees in the first series. That would be kind of a blow. Although, I mean that's just my take. I'm not saying we can't beat the Yankees. It's just the toughest team of all the second place slash wild card, whatever you want to call it. Uh, yeah, but it looks like we're playing the Astros pretty much set in stone. It would take something crazy for that not to happen. And the A's aren't moving up or down in the standings at this rate. Uh, so I'm pretty happy. They were the first team to clinch a division, so I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah. So also, I wanted to talk about the NL, 2 surprise teams right now. Um, if the Giants make it in, That'd be amazing. And the Marlins, because both those teams were picked at the beginning of the season to be like last place teams, and they're actually might make the playoffs with this new bracket. I think that's hilarious. Do I think they'll make it far? Probably not, but uh, that would be really interesting. The Phillies, I didn't. I mean, they have star power, but they have no relief pitching. They're somehow in the playoff picture. I think they're in the bracket right now. Oh, the Reds. I thought they'd do better. You could check out my video on that. But I guess I don't know what happened. Um, but yeah, Trevor, their pitching rotation is super good. Their bullpen hasn't lived up to what people to what I thought it'd be based on Pedro Strop, who they got rid of, DFA'd him, I think. Lorenzen's been good out of the bullpen. So and I think Trevor Bauer's been their definite ace. If this had either were wild cards, I would not want any part in playing the Reds. Same with Sonny Gray's been like a second ace, but I still say Bauer's been the like insanely good. Should be NL Cy Young. Anyway, yeah, and so that's my take on like the lower NL teams race. But I still think the Dodgers are coming out of the NL. Everyone's saying that it's a safe bet. I thought um, I actually didn't expect them to do it last year. I don't know what it was. Like I had a hunch. Like once Washington won the wild card game, like dude, Washington. I had that feeling where Washington was gonna at least beat the Dodgers. I'm not saying I thought Washington was gonna go all the way, but eventually you're not gonna make the World Series or CS every single year. And just it's like the I just feel like the odds of that happening were close to uh it was getting lower and lower odds just based on like historical. You can't make it every single year. But yeah, I was interested in. I think this year they're gonna get a World Series. They're probably going to win this time because the only times they've lost the World Series uh, in this like in the last two World Series appearances they've had, which they went in back-to-back years, 2017, 2018. They played first they played the cheating Astros, and it was a game seven, close series. All like every game seemed to be down to wire, so the cheating probably made a difference. Same with that Red Sox series, also a game seven. So I'm assuming it wasn't they should have won and they got cheated out of it. It's a question of and now they've got Mookie Betts, so that's not fair. I mean, I'm not saying it's not fair. I mean, it's almost not fair because of how much talent they have. Like, they've rounded up so much talent that most matchups are going to be a mismatch. They also like, I mean, adding Mookie Betts and all you have to do is trade Verdugo and I think a few prospects. That's and also they got David Price, and I'm saying they're lucky that he opted out because I don't think he's. I know he won the World Series, but he also didn't pitch that well in those World Series games that he finally won World Series or a few playoff games when he was with the Red Sox. I think I don't think uh, I think that's all in his head is why it's happening, but I don't. But I think they're better off using Bueller. And it's the only reason Dustin May really came up is because um, as a starter and became more integral part of the rotation is the fact that Price was out. So I think it's going to be a interesting. I think that it's theirs to lose. Nothing really shocks me in the playoffs. Plus, this especially this year because there is no home field advantage. I guess yes, you could be the home team and walk off and get the walk off, but think about it. No, there's also no crowd, so there's really no like the crowd isn't the whole part of playing at home. Uh, it's also knowing your field, like your like with the A's, giant foul territory that you can field, and the A's know that like by muscle memory. Other teams that don't play that aren't don't practice on that field probably don't know that as well, so they don't catch as many balls in foul territory. They don't know how to angle their run, their route to get there, and so there's an example. Also, think about the Rockies ballpark. They base their team around hitting home runs and offense basically, and their pitchers aren't. They don't really get any high paid pitchers. That they have an advantage of knowing how to hit. Uh, their team is based perfectly around their own ballpark. That's why they always have a great home record. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to the playoffs, but I'm just saying, like, I think it's stupid. At least given, like, I know there's no fans and you're testing out neutral ground like they do for the Super Bowl. Uh, but I don't think that's a good idea for base. It takes a lot of knowledge of the ballpark. Your home ballpark, you're so used to the feel of the field and everything. So the fact that they're taking that away, it's like no point. We might as well just get with this type of playoff bracket, uh, where the first place team has a huge advantage or whatever in the seeding. It's not. You might as well just be a top win your division, and then you can just stop, and then you shouldn't be. There's no point in working for the number one seed. So yeah, um, looking for. Sorry, I'm honestly like kind of pissed off at Manfred. Also, I could do a whole for the second half of this video. I'm gonna go into what I think Manfred has done wrong in general since the beginning of the off season. Uh, the punishments for Houston were too low. Or too light. I feel like the players should have been in trouble just as much as the coach and the GM. The players were the ones banging on the trash can. Um, they won championships. They won a championship because of it. World Series ring, and I don't think that's fair because to not saying you should take away the trophy. I'm saying you shouldn't be. I'm just saying like you should punish the players. Like they should have had suspensions, and I'm pissed off also that he hasn't spoken up and said anything against the fact that uh that about the whole thing about them saying Altuve didn't cheat. He or didn't want to cheat or something like that effect, and everyone just started talking about that for a huge amount of time. Look at the facts. Altuve was an MVP candidate. He can't stay healthy this year. He's barely batting like I think halfway through the season he was batting like uh, sub 200. So I'm kind of like or around 200 on the season. Around 200. I think the highest he was last I checked was like 226 or like just under 230. You can't tell me that the and it's you can't tell me that the cheating did nothing when if you that he wasn't cheating based on that. There's a drastic difference between when they were cheating and when since they've been caught. I can't you can't blame it on anything else. There's no way someone drops that much unless they were benefiting from the cheating. I honestly think they didn't get punished enough, so should have punished the players. That was my biggest critique on that. And now he's protecting these players. So all of a sudden, the Astros have beamed a lot of players this year, including an incident that we'll get into later against the A's. I know what Joe Kelly did isn't okay to throw at a guy's head, but the second you hit an Astro player even on accident, like and you aren't hitting him in the head, you're hitting him in like the butt or something, which is where you're supposed to hit him if you're gonna intentionally beam them, because it's not gonna injure them. May be painful, um, but I honestly think it's like the only reason they're doing that is because they can't get their because they didn't get a big enough punishment. Um, it's and they lost a few draft picks. Well, in baseball, draft picks don't mean crap. There have been a lot of first round picks that don't make it into the league. So, and it's hard to judge whether a guy's going to be good or bad. The prospect's going to be good or bad. You never know. Um, and yeah, so I'm honestly pissed off around the Astros. They also, for the biggest example, is they hit Laureano twice in a game. There were no warnings. And uh, and then the hitting coach for the Astros, he got a 20-game suspension for this, but which finally they but it should be the pitcher at fault too, is suspension. And basically they hit him twice in a game, 3 times in the course of 2 games. Um, that's and so at a certain point you believe it's intentional. The hitting coach says something about Laureano's mom or something in the dugout, because Laureano was like doing like this, saying this is how you pitch, to catch to the pitcher, and things got heated because the pitching coach, who shouldn't be talking because he's not, who's not even part of the game, eggs him on to go charge the dugout, and Laureano charges the dugout because the hitting coach, Clinton, I think is his name, uh, happened to kept like egging him on. The ump wasn't doing anything about it, so Laureano took things into his own hands. I'm not saying you should, during COVID you can't have brawls or whatever, or communicate with the other team like that. Laureano gets a 4-game suspension, and here's the funniest part about this incident: the player, the hitting coach didn't ever get attacked. Laureano went just for the hitting coach. He wasn't going for any of the players. And then the former catcher of the Athletics, from last year, Dustin Arno, goes and protects the hitting coach. No one ever, like, the hitting coach doesn't even get involved physically, which I think is very cowardly. In fact, there's a lot of articles you can look up on that one. Just look up Laureano, Astros brawl. Laureano's not known to get into brawls. He wears his heart on his sleeve, but he's not going to go and attack anybody. I don't think he has any prior suspensions. Gives a lot to the community. He's a great role model. It's just everyone has their breaking point. Why wasn't, like, at some point in that series they should have had a warning, and then and then the next time they played or whatever, we hit their guy on accident, and it was just one guy getting hit, and I don't remember who was hit, or who was on the mound. I think uh, they gave a warning, and like we got a warning where he said, where he got a full-on warning, basically saying, "Hey, next guy that gets hit on the other side gets ejected." It's like, what the? They're really favoring to protect the Astros for something that they're supposed to be punished for. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think on that aspect, and also this playoff thing. Um, I understand the bigger playoff bracket, but he's saying he wants to keep this, and then also no home field advantage. That's not fair, because you work all season to be a first place team, right? I mean, every team has an equal chance basically, other than who they play. I think, and I honestly think that's messed up. So maybe if you don't want to play the 8 seed and you're close enough to the second seed and you want to play the 7 seed, you could just tank and like be like, I mean, and apparently that's how you get in. So I don't know. I mean that makes you an easier matchup, which gives you an advantage. Where usually the 1 seed gives you home field throughout the entire playoffs. I don't know. This is kind of. I mean, this is pisses me off. So let me know. And so those are the things I'm mainly upset with Manfred. Just to sum it up, I'm sure a lot of people are upset with Manfred. A lot of baseball fans. Oh, the one thing he did good was added that extra inning rule with the guy on second. I think that makes things way more entertaining, and I don't have to stay up all night watching an extra inning game that goes like 15 innings when I'm trying to get some sleep. So, and I'm not saying I wouldn't stay up for that, but it's just like it makes it more entertaining, in extra innings, and I think casual people will start enjoying baseball because it adds the more excitement you add, especially in pivotal moments. Uh, the doubleheader rule about only doing 7 innings, which they were prepped for just mainly because of COVID, but or rain delays and all that, and it's a short season, so there were a lot of double headers. I like the fact that they were 7 inning games versus full on 9 inning games because that would just kill a bullpen, kill like basically like destroy your chances of winning the next day. Um, yeah, and I'm also like I'm cautiously optimistic that the A's will win a playoff series for the first time since 2006. Um, and so yeah, I'm like I say, cautiously optimistic. If they get more injuries to some key players, I don't know. Jonah Heim is another A's player, but he's young, so we do have two catchers. All right, that's it for today. Let me know what you think. I'll do a weekly update. Every 2 to 7 days, I'll have an update unless something important comes up like the very next day or a few hours. Um, Let me know if I should keep doing these podcasts.